Hello Internet, and welcome back to my Sky Island playthrough of Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. Now in the last episode we went on a new expedition and our goal was pretty much exclusively to find sheet metal. Now we could have just purchased this with material tokens back on the Sky Island, but I decided we would go down and try to cut down those numbers by getting some ourselves. We were successful in this, albeit, slow. It took most of the episode to really figure out how to obtain the sheet metal, which was a little frustrating. Couldn't even smash a stove properly, I believe. We messed that up somehow. And then we started to drive away in our road roller. We went to pick up our mission to grab just some loose warp shards that were out in the world. There were 2 of them, which is not, amazing, but it's something. And then we basically are just gonna head to Extract in this episode. So everyone, welcome back to the series. So our plan in the last episode was to leave the road roller here, head south, move across the forest, go up to Extract. We're still gonna do that, but I actually think we're going to drive the road roller further south here instead of leaving it up here where the Z's are, because we don't know, in the future they might migrate. This is kind of in between 2 areas, maybe just a little bit more centrally located. I don't know that it actually matters very much, but I think that's what we're going to do here. And then once we're back to the Sky Island, we're going to do our room upgrade, I think. Why was my keyboard not working? Okay, so yeah, I think we're gonna drive this just a little bit further south here. We do see a horde to the north we're not really concerned about. Oh, that's right, there was a horde to the south. That's correct, I forgot about that. Nothing of interest really that we saw. I think there was a firefighter zombie. They can have some interesting stuff sometimes, but that's really the only thing we saw of note. And if they want to come and let us run them over, that's, that's fine. In fact, maybe we shouldn't park this here because of that horde. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. It all of course hinges on us coming back to this location in the first place, which we're not guaranteed to really come down here. And we do have this set to be marked on the map, so we should be able to find this pretty easily in the future if we want to do that. And we're just going to head up to Extract. I see we're hungry as well, so if we could grab a little food from a nearby house as we head up there, that would be fine. Otherwise, our inventory's pretty full up here, so I'm not really expecting to gather much of anything, to be honest. Yeah, looking at our inventory, there was actually just an update today to pain in the game. I have not updated since then. I don't think I want to update because of that particular PR. And I'm not saying it's bad, and my thoughts on it are still being formulated, but it seems like it makes pain super debilitating to the point that it's maybe not currently balanced in the game, so I'm a little concerned. I have some concerns about that particular PR, so I don't really want to update at the moment, and there haven't been any major updates recently of things that I really want in the game here anyway, so I don't know, maybe we'll hold off on updating for a while. Maybe we should follow the trail up here instead of just wandering through the open fields. That'll give us a little bit more tree cover and stuff in case we would encounter something bad. And we're going to keep safe mode on because I just don't really know what can spawn on day 1 in swamps anymore, but I know that they can potentially be pretty dangerous. Yeah, I'm back recording. It's been a while since I recorded the last, I would say 3 episodes. I feel like I was not a particularly good YouTuber in those videos. I've been very down lately. Basically, I mentioned it, I think briefly before, that I had been ghosted by a person, but that turned into being ghosted by 3 people, which is alarming because it makes me feel like I've done something wrong and I don't think that I did. And I've just been really low energy, very sad about that. And I just don't know that I've been very good company lately, so to speak. And since the point of this is to be, mildly entertaining at least, I'm just not feeling it very much. And I don't know if I've been doing a good job. People are still very positive. I appreciate your comments, by the way. I literally got one today that was like, hey, these videos are the brightest part of my day. I love when they pop up on my feed. And I appreciate those comments. It's just an internal feeling of I'm not doing a good job. So anyway, here we have a black bear. It's ignoring us. It didn't trigger safe mode because presumably it's not hostile. I don't know how likely it is to become hostile. I remember fighting bears in previous Let's Plays. I just don't know if I sought them out or if they sought me out. Obviously this is a big meaty animal if we were looking to stock our freezer or something like that, but we're not really equipped to handle that. Our best weapon currently for this engagement would be the Beretta pistol. And since that's not a particularly powerful pistol, that's, 26 damage is not terrible, but we don't really want to engage with the bear, and we can't take the meat anyway, and we only have 5 warp pulses left. We're not going to be able to properly butcher this. I'm not going to give it like a huge berth. I don't think it's going to come bother us, but just something to be, a little concerned about. So many Z's. Just so many hordes is pretty crazy how many Z's are on my map right now. Like almost every revealed square of this town has a Z on it. And I hate that because our extract is like, where is our extract? It's like right here, right? Like literally right next to the Z's. Let's pop on our missions here. We're looking for reach one of the exit points. Yeah, right next to all the giant hordes of enemies. So my plan to come over here and maybe go through a house or something, probably not going to happen. I think we should just extract, and we should approach this from the east just to put a little distance and cover between us and the hordes. What is this? A wasp nest to the east. I mean, that's far enough away that it shouldn't interfere with our plan, but instead of heading straight east, we should head southeast now and try to circle around the extract from the other side. We get another warp pulse going through us, not a concern. Yeah, I don't know, it's been weird, man. I know one of the episodes I was talking about my neurodivergence, and I know some people get very touchy about that. I think some people, especially when it's just in the self-diagnosis stage and it's not like officially a diagnosis yet, some people I think don't understand the actual like nature of a doctor diagnosis and how hard it is to actually be properly diagnosed as an adult with like who's neurodivergent. I think it's just a little bit different, and I don't think people necessarily understand the complexity of that situation. And then you talk about it and some people are weird, like, oh, you don't seem like you have autism, and it's like, okay, bud, like, or people say like, oh, you can't self-diagnose, and I'm like, why not? And they're like, well, you're not a doctor, you can't self-diagnose things like that. And then I say, well, if I stub my toe and the bone is sticking out, I don't really need a doctor to diagnose that I have a broken toe now, do I? Like, you just, sometimes the symptoms are so obvious that you have an idea. So having a look at our inventory here, I don't know that we're going to do any extra looting. I was going to maybe check that house to the east, but since we saw the wasp nest, I don't know that that's a good idea. I see many of the Z's have moved off. I assume that they wandered into the forest here. They always seem to be migrating west for some reason. I mean, it would be nice to just like pop in a house and maybe get a little food in our belly before we go. That way we're not eating our food back at base. I'm not sure. We're not really in a position to do a lot of fighting because we're very full up and we just have the bat instead of our spear. I mean, there is a little cover here. I'm just wary of getting too close to the wasp nest. Can we see the periphery of it? We can't. So it's far-ish away, but I think we just extract here. We came for the sheet metal. We got the sheet metal. Let's get out of here. My family is home now. It sounds like they're going to be preparing to make dinner, so there might be like pots and pans scraping in the background, and it's not really anything I can do about that. We're going to record for like another 20 minutes at least. So all right, so we got some sheet metal, and again, the point here was just to lighten the requirements for what we have to pay for, because we're going to use our material tokens to redeem. If we come over here and we search for sheet metal here, we can redeem these for 20 material tokens, which we just got more, by the way. It says we got 50 material tokens. I think we have about 350 total. I don't really remember. But so we needed the sheet metal, but we needed 8 of them. So that alone would have been 160 tokens. But the main thing here was the steel frames, which were like 150 each. So if we look for steel frame, it requires 100 material tokens each. And I believe we need 2 of those. So we were just shy of the requirements to actually purchase all of that metal material for our base upgrade. And so we wanted to go on an expedition, grab a little sheet metal to lighten the cost of getting all of these materials, and also to get more material tokens by doing the expedition. We have successfully returned. We got everything that we wanted out of this expedition, so it was a good one, even though it was short and very like halting in the last episode, and my commentary not being amazing. It doesn't matter. We got everything that we were kind of hoping to get out of this. So they were a little more voluminous as well than I was expecting. I thought maybe we could get 5 or 6 of them. We got 4, so that's okay. And then to craft the room upgrade, we have to be up here anyway, so let's just drop our stuff right here on these piles. We don't have to take them downstairs, even though we set up a table downstairs for crafting. So we'll drop that. We didn't actually get very much on the expedition, but I think that's okay. So I guess, I mean, it's almost 7 p.m. in the game here. Why don't we just, I guess, eat something while we're here? We didn't take our food downstairs, right? Yeah, so let's just eat something up here. Let's eat those meat pies because they're, you know, spoiling. I'm not going to eat all this butter. It's disgusting. We're not going to just eat raw butter, obviously. So we're going to eat a couple meat pies here, and we're going to make sure we take a multivitamin to keep our vitamins up. I think you're supposed to take these like twice a day. So vitamins, RDA, and compounds. Vitamin C 24 to 48%, iron 24 to 4. So it looks like I don't really know how this display works. Does that mean when I eat it, I get a random number between 24 and 48%? Because if that's the case, we should be eating like 3 of these a day. We've been getting plenty of like iron from like the meats that we've been eating, but the calcium and vitamin C are the things that are much lower. I think we were prioritizing fruit in a previous episode, so we did get a fair bit of vitamin C, or maybe tea or something like that we were drinking. But the calcium is going to be probably the vitamin we get the least of just in general. So why don't we eat, I don't know if we have to like spread out our intake of multivitamins. See here it says we have plenty of vitamin C, plenty of iron, but just some calcium. So let's see if that changes when I pop a multivitamin. Yeah, so that went up to plenty as well. So we must have taken maybe vitamins earlier in the day as well. I'm not sure. Don't really remember. And then let's have a look at our beverages. I really should separate the beverages out. That way it's a little easier to look at them in this menu. Yeah, we don't seem to have any tea. I could make some tea. So I'm not sure what benefits we actually get from making tea as opposed to water here. If we have a look, we do have some of the materials for the tea. It's just that we would have to go downstairs to where we have a fire and can actually cook these things. So if we go to black tea, for instance, what is the vitamin count here? 0 to 4%. Yeah, I wouldn't expect much. Remember, this is material coming out of a small, you know, a bag of tea. It's not a huge amount of, like it's not changing water into something magically that's going to give us tons of healthy, you know, food and stuff, but it would be something, I guess. Mostly it was that cider. That's what we were drinking. We were drinking cider that gave us a ton of vitamin C. I don't know, can you even make cider? Probably you can. I don't have the recipe. Our food handling is basically 0, so yeah, our food handling is 1 at 0%. I assume we started the game with that. I don't remember doing anything with it. Yeah, so okay, let's, I guess, focus on the room upgrade. So we will need, we might have sheet metal somewhere. That would be downstairs in like the spare parts. I may have brought some sheet metal. So we have a look here. And we have small metal sheets, we have polycarbonate sheets, large plastic sheets. So those 4 that we have upstairs are our only, just slamming pans downstairs. This is the only materials that we have are upstairs. And then we never brought a frame. It's possible we would have started with a frame somewhere in like all of this, but I can't imagine that we did. So let's look for frame, I guess. That would be vehicle parts. That wouldn't even be under spare parts. So it would be up here. So if we look for everything, and we search for frame. Nope, no frames. Didn't really expect there to be, so that's fine. All right, well, let's have a look at the recipe and see what we need to expand our room. I'm very excited to expand our room. Why is if we go over to upgrades and we look for is it the hollow carver? We need 8 sheet metal total, so we need 4 more of those and 2 frames. So let's gather all of our material tokens. Search for material. We have 300. Is that really all we have? Is that really all we have? I thought we had more than this. What category? Your other. So they would all be up here. So that must be all we have. I really thought we had. Didn't we check? I thought we had more than 300. Alrighty. Well, I don't know if that's enough. I don't remember now. No, don't take down the infinity ore. Let's start buying parts. Well, we know that no matter what, the steel frames are like pretty problematic to get because of the time investment. See here it says we have 400. Did I already have 100 in my inventory? Is that why? Okay, it doesn't matter. So let's make a steel frame. Takes 1 second. Dispose, sure. Store in inventory, sure. And I guess we'll have to hoof it over here because we need, we're not going to have space to put all of them in our inventory, and we're going to need them near the statue to be craftable. So this might be a smidge tedious here. I could just drop them on at my feet, I suppose, and then haul everything over. And then we need 4 sheet metals. sheet. And we'll do this by batch crafting. I should have done that the first time. So 4 sheet metals. You have no room in your inventory. Drop everything and haul that over to the pile. And we should now be able to craft our room upgrade. I think that was everything that we needed. So hollow carver. So we do need to go downstairs and grab our screwdriving set, and we need to grab our drill. And remember, in a previous episode, we made a drill specifically for this purpose. So if we're looking for, it must have got shuffled to the tool pile. So if we look, I don't even remember what it was. I guess it has drill in the name. Sure, makeshift hand drill. And then we need a screwdriver set so we can get that fine screwdriving quality. And we're good, so let's go up and do this. I'm excited. We need the statue. We're next to the statue, so let's make the hollow carver. Hollow carver. This strange metaphysical artifact is used to build a structure on the island. Will be used automatically upon crafting and can only be used once. So let's drop a quick save. Did this before when we were doing construction, just in case something would bork and we would have to revert our save because it damages, like it glitches out and damages the island or something. Let's hit enter. Let's do it. Takes 16 minutes. Sun will be going down probably in like half an hour or so. Constructed. Main room 2 is successfully completed. Construction complete. The central room has grown. Hit enter. Everything should update. Looks like it still only has a single skylight, but that's okay. We don't really need more skylights. Oh, we have to get closer. Okay, I was gonna say, why didn't it get bigger? But yes. Okay, it's still not huge, but it is much more room to work with. You could see how much smaller it was when we were trying to cram everything into a 3x3 square here, so it'll be nice to spread things out a little bit. And we can even move our bedroom in here as well now. I don't know, maybe we shouldn't sleep in the same room we craft and do all that stuff in, but I don't like, you know, managing 2 rooms. We'll leave the battery, of course. Oh, that's right, we should craft the battery recharger since everything's up and running, and the only reason we didn't do it last time is because we didn't have power, and now we do have power. 72% power, in fact. We should do that at some point here in the near future. For now, I don't think we're going to set up any other room type stuff at the moment. Like, we're not going to really expand this with all the other piles at this time. I think would be a little tedious, and I just don't really feel like doing it right now. So we'll just leave everything upstairs for the time being, but we will be moving all of that stuff down here at some point to make our base a little bit more basey. So if we head up here, we're going to check this statue to see if there are any further upgrades, but I think that's actually it for this stage of development. This mod hasn't been getting worked on as much as it was. Like, I started playing this right around the time there was a major update, and we got like these new statues, the room upgrades, all that stuff. Before, that didn't exist at all. So that was a pretty huge update, and it completely changed the way Sky Island was played. And I never really knew the old way. I only knew this way, really, and I enjoy this. It's just that it's still in progress. So like, there aren't more room upgrades. The island is now your home. It would be prudent to make it livable. Unfortunately, there are no more construction options. So we've fully upgraded all of the available rooms at the moment. In fact, we can see that under, so if we go to view my upgrade stats and we look here, where's the room upgrade thing? You know, that's construction stats, my mistake. So it says main room 2 of 4, but we haven't unlocked. Okay, so that would imply there are more upgrades. I mean, you might as well heal me because, you know, we just came back from an expedition. So maybe because I haven't done other upgrades, maybe this is locked behind some of our other upgrades. I don't think it would be that we have to build all of the infinity things, because I don't think the game would check for that. So I don't know how it would check for that. So I don't think we have to build those. So that would mean we'd have to do other upgrades first. Maybe unlocking longer expeditions before we can upgrade would be a thing. We haven't really been finding a lot of upgrade materials like we were in the early game when we had that longer expedition and we could explore a lot more. And I really want the basement locator, but we haven't found really any of these materials because we've never really been in a basement in this game, and most of these things spawn in basements. All we found were a couple board games. What else would even be the thing that would limit us? I don't know. We haven't found any of these drugs either. We can craft the alpha container. I guess. We probably have enough warp shards at this point. In fact, let's finally disassemble the lumberjack bag. I said I would do this in like episode 5, and that was like, it was a while ago. So why don't we drop that? The wind is very strong. Okay, so let's, I don't, actually, you know what? I don't know if we can butcher it. Let's wear it and we'll disassemble it. That way we, you know, hopefully we guarantee getting those warp shards back. You're going to disassemble a worn item. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. We get 5 warp shards for that. And why don't we just craft that immediately into the alpha container? Now, we talked about this previously. If you never die, the alpha container means nothing. Obviously in Tarkov or something like that, it's a lot more valuable because the likelihood of you dying in any given raid is it's pretty high if you're as bad of a player as I am. But in a game like Cataclysm, where I have a little bit of experience and we've been very careful up until this point, it's not that you can't die just at random, but like, it's not super likely. Strange metaphysical container suddenly snaps inward, clinging to the very core of your being. Anything stored here will not be lost on death. Yeah, so this is an integrated pocket. That means it's actually part of our body. It doesn't take up any inventory space or anything like that. It's just a small container. In fact, it says integrated right there. Small container that exists inside of our person. So just anytime you see me use this, just imagine, well, just picture Bender opening up that chest cavity and shoving something inside. That's basically what this is. Now, unfortunately, it is a tiny, tiny little pocket, so it only can hold something that's half of a liter, which looks like up to 240 pounds. I assume that just exists to be like, yeah, you can put any weight of an item in here as long as it's small enough to fit inside. And I'm a bit confused by the item length. It says it can be up to 787 inches, which, I guess it's more like a dimensional pocket than a physical pocket. This metaphysical container is unique in that it is the only storage that will keep its contents on death. Everything else will be lost. Yeah, it must be like a little portal in our chests or something. This is your outer aura. Okay, I have no idea what that means. But anyway, let's check the statue and see what we need for the, I assume, the beta or Bravo container or whatever comes next. I don't know. I think they're called beta in Tarkov, but you know, Bravo is, I don't know, military alphabet stuff. So let's look at, we're looking for empower the obelisk. No. Upgrade expeditions. No. Upgrade. No. Construction? No? Okay, so no alpha container upgrade either, which makes me wonder, is there even an upgrade, or is it just that I need to do a different upgrade first? I don't know. Okay, so it's the same thing as the construction, where I don't know if it's implemented yet, or if it's just that I don't have the requirements necessary to even unlock the recipe. Yeah, because this statue just sends us on an expedition. It wouldn't be through that statue. Okay, well, I mean, I'm not disappointed. It's just that this one is so small, I probably will never use it for anything. But okay, so let's drop our stuff, and we might as well auto sort while we're here because we haven't done that in a while. Sorting out the loot. Okay, you sorted out every possible item. Let's see if we can craft that box recharger. We needed that would be on this pile. We're looking for the soldering iron, and we're looking for on this pile, we're looking for solder. And I don't recall the requirements. So we're looking for, what's this called? Box recharger, something like that. Disconnected box battery charger. It's a long name, man. So we need the soldering iron to be powered, which we discovered in the last episode. We have to plug it in. We need a wooden frame, which we can easily make, and then we have a battery charger. So all of our lumber should be down here, so we should be able to make a wooden frame straight away. Wooden frame just requires nails and planks, of course, so we will do that. Wooden frame in progress. Oh, it took longer than expected. The sun has gone down, so we ought to find our lantern. I don't know where we've placed our lantern. Okay, so let's do search all tiles and we'll look for a lantern. We must have dropped it upstairs or down here or something. Electric lantern off. We're almost out of batteries for that, but again, that's why we're setting things up so that we can have that battery. We hear a sound. From here you heard footsteps. You hear your own footsteps, bro. Don't freak out. Activate the lantern. Plug in. No, just turn it on. Apparently we can just plug the lantern into our power grid as well. I didn't know that. So can I do that from right here, actually? Plug in, manage cables, extend with another cable. No. Okay. Plug in, attach to vehicle. Yeah, so we can't plug into that extension cord, which we learned previously, but that's okay. So now we have the wooden frame. All we needed other than that was the battery recharger, which I thought we had. It must be upstairs. It must not have a category. So we'll search for battery charger. What category are you? Yeah, your vehicle parts, which we don't have a setup for vehicle parts at the moment. And we have to craft this near our battery where we can plug it in. So I'm going to need to bring that frame down with us. We'll reset. We'll take the wooden frame. And that should be everything. Let's haul that up here. Looks like we grabbed that extension cord, which wasn't really my intention. And we will activate the soldering iron to plug it into our power grid. You connect the soldering iron to the medium grid battery, and that should be all of our requirements. So if we search for battery, no, it's not all the requirements. We need a battery. Oh, I dropped it upstairs instead of putting it in my inventory. Keep doing that. So take the battery charger. The wind is very strong. Yes, thank you for the constant reminder. Battery charger, craft that. Fantastic. Get that moving. We increased our understanding of electronics to level 2, which I assume it was previously, and we probably just sort of degraded over time because of skill rust, because this only takes you to level 2, or maybe it's just a really good recipe that did in fact raise our skill. We should be able to deploy this, correct? Or no, it's a construction item. So if we search for battery, place battery charger, we will place that down next to our existing battery. We will how do we do this? We will plug in appliance to the battery charger, which should be all we need. So, oh, wait a minute. How do you turn this on? Can we examine it? Turn on recharger. Okay, if it's a vehicle part, you have to have like a dashboard in order to interact with it. But apparently here we can just place this down and directly interface with the appliance, which makes a lot of sense. Obviously, most appliances, you just plug them in and they work, right? Or they have a power switch on them or whatever. So now we can gather our batteries, which are treated as tool magazines, which if you remember, we don't have a category for that. So if we go upstairs and we just, again, for the 1000th time, we search for everything and we look for battery, we will move every single in fact, we'll even take the disposable batteries downstairs. That way we can see them all on the same pile and we don't have to really overthink that. We want to choose what items we select here to make sure we only get the batteries. We don't want the material tokens, and we should be able to haul these straight downstairs, and we can't unfortunately move onto the tile, so stop hauling, use advanced inventory to move everything over here, hit the comma, and now everything should be on our recharger. Fantastic. And we can turn on the recharger, and it has 0.0 watt power flow. Why is that? I plugged them in together. Well, will they fill in order? So if I just like wait for a second, let's wait 1 minute. It didn't seem to affect the top one. Okay, so I don't know how it recharges. If I turned it on and it said it wasn't powered, would it tell me that? Like, would it say like, oh, turned on but no power? Let's just plug it into the battery as well, just to make sure. I mean, it says it's already connected. I assume they're gonna charge. Soldering irons, overextended cable breaks loose. Oops, yeah, shouldn't do that. Should definitely unplug that. It's funny that it stretched all the way upstairs and everything without issue though. Okay, well, we have a recharging station. That's pretty great. We'll drop the soldering iron, and we used 5 solder, which is pretty low. So I'm glad that we still have a lot more solder, because as we discussed in a previous episode, pretty difficult to craft that item. And because of our limited ability to loot when we go on an expedition, so that's pretty hard to find new solder. So that's great. What were we going to work on next? We could check out, we were going to get a light bulb, which is another reason I wanted to loot a house while I was down there. We didn't unfortunately do that, so we can't set up a lamp, but we do know now that we can plug our lantern directly into the power grid. So I think our next step would be to set something up here. In fact, we should have done this with the battery recharger and then use the extension cord to plug it in. That way we then have a nexus in this room that we can plug stuff into. So can I just grab this and drag it? I can. I assume it will disconnect. Power cord detached. So let's plug it in right. No, move down. There we go. So let's place it right here, and then let's grab the extension cord. and we will apply the extension cord to plug it in to this. You connect the medium grid battery and the box battery charger with the extension cord. So the reason we did this is because if it's down here, we can plug stuff into either one of these. But if we stretch it up here with an extension cord, now we have a hub in this room that we can use to plug in other things. So now we can use our soldering iron while we're standing right next to our table and not have to worry about it. I can drop my lantern, which has 14 charge, which I'm not even going to turn it off. It doesn't matter. Actually, we don't want to drop it, right? We want to activate it first. Activate the lantern, plug it in, and it should now be connected. So if we turn off the lantern, it is still on. Should be? No, it would still turn off. No, it'll turn off as soon as I wait a turn. Yeah. No, it'll continue using power until I turn it off, basically. And it'll continue using battery charge unless I take the battery out of it, which I'm not going to do. So yeah, I was hopeful maybe these like spikes off the edge of the main room here would do something, but I guess not. I don't know, man. I wish there were more attainable upgrades. We've been having a hard time finding some of these items for the other upgrades, but it's fine. We've been making progress. Internet. Hopefully you enjoy this series. I know everybody, it seems like a mixed bag, but people have been largely positive, and I enjoy the mod quite a lot. I just wish I had more time to play and could make more videos. I think people get frustrated when it's only like 2 or 3 a week. With that though, I think we're going to call the episode. Looks like we're at like 36 minutes, probably a lot less once I start editing, but whatever. So everyone, for now, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed watching a little bit of the base upgrade stuff. I'm excited to just continue plowing forward with the mod. We're gaining skills. We're getting ready for future expeditions. We're finding more equipment. It's progress. It's just very slow because I haven't been playing very much. So everyone, for now, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. I, of course, will be back in the near future with more content, and I'll see you next time.